Did you call him a child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's
Nobody digging to you.
A little kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a. The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. You can be recorded for that.
I don't give a
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say.
Now, that woman, ladies and gentlemen, was Shiloh Hendricks, right? Now, y'all remember when she was caught in the park, banning the Beelzebub and Jackal, right? Calling a 5-year-old child the N-word, right? And somebody pulled out their phone and they recorded her, and she doubled down on it. She wasn't caring. She was going hard to paint. Now, people were saying that she has her amendment right to say what she want to say, do what she want to do, right? And you can't, as long as she's not invoking violence. Well, we know that word, when invoked by them, has been the cause of violence. So, man, listen, the mere fact that in 2026 we have to explain this, it's not scary. It's just letting you know. Listen, you already know what it is. History speaks for itself. I have the history on my side. Well, they'll say, well, you use it. Us using it towards each other has nothing to do with the history and the connotation that it comes with you guys, right? And she had the gall to call this to a child. Now, I want y'all to understand something, right? She raised over $800 and something thousand, right? A lot of you suckers out there was upset with the Carmelo Anthony family when they raised money, but y'all ain't questioning this W woman at all. You homogenized, tipped on to the tulips, Negroes. You had the audacity to question the Anthony family about the money when they was being harassed down there and had to move. But this woman called a black baby the N-word and got 800 and something thousand off of it. Then she's so emboldened and feels so protected by her people because they stand on business, right or wrong, weak or strong. She came to social media and said this.
Hi everyone, I'm Shiloh Hendricks. I wanted to take a little time to talk to you all about what's been going on with my fundraiser and kind of the aftermath of the park situation. Also some concerns that have been brought to my attention. There are a lot of people who think that this has all been a scam, that I haven't been getting my money and that it's not going to me. I have gotten every dime of my money. It's all gone to me. Nobody has asked me for any money. So there's that. Rest assured, all the money has gone to me. I also just want to say how proud I am of everybody and just showing what can happen if we tribe up and if we stick together and if we keep fighting back. Our future, our existence depends on standing up for ourselves and not backing down. And we just have to keep on going. There's no other option. I mean, what else are we going to do? You can't be afraid of words. Don't be afraid of the people who are so fragile to a word. Again, I just want to say that I am so grateful for all of my supporters and all of my people who have been with me through all of this. And yeah, I haven't said anything on here. I haven't done any sort of videos or spoke to anybody really. So I felt like it was about time to clear the air and just kind of, keep you updated with what's going on. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you, everyone. And I will talk to you later.
Now remember, these are just words, and they're protected. Bigoted comments and racial comments are protected under the amendments, right? You can say what you want. Now you have legal exceptions and boundaries, right? When true threats, statements, where the speaker means to communicate a serious expression of an intent to commit an act of unlawful violence to a particular individual or group. Now, when the W was saying that, how do I know if they're about to commit an unlawful act? Knowing that that word has been used historically in this country to commit unlawful acts. That word has been used in this country historically to prevent us from creating a living for ourselves. That word has been used to, in the derogatory term, to harm black people, right? Speech, incitement, speech directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and likely to produce such action. Harassment, severe, passive, and objectively offensive conduct that disrupts specific environments like education and workplace. So this is where they like to play this fine line and this slippery slope, because we know that with them using that word and directing it towards us, it harms us in many ways, right? That's why you had laws on the books to protect us from this. But it's just the word. And we're supposed to get over it, because W folks said, hey, we're not like that no more. And you guys have to forgive us. And if you don't, you are the problem. And I can call you the N-word. And when I call you the N-word, I can get fired from my job and get almost $1 million and won't nobody question me. And I can come online after that and I can antagonize black people and say thank you to all my supporters. Thank you for paying me. I started my own business. I done retired. I can do all those things, right? And you black people that got a problem with this, I'm not the problem. You are the problem. This is what they've done to y'all. And you go for it. Mind control. So now she was found guilty in court, right? And let's look at what she was found guilty of.
Sam, we are now on day 4 of this very lengthy misdemeanor trial here. Let me catch you up on what we started with. The judge began by questioning the jury on their integrity. If you remember my report from yesterday, Sam, it was revealed to us that a local media outlet received a Facebook comment stating that one of their reporters had been in contact with the jury, which is illegal. That could have been a mistrial if that was the case, but all the jury members denied having any conversations about this trial outside of the courtroom. Now, the defense then called in the RPD detective who first interviewed the father of the boy. If you remember yesterday, we heard from the detective that gave us the second interview, and now we heard the first interview, and we got some information come to light today. The detective says that the father never cried or acted overwhelmed during the entire 40-minute to 1-hour interview, and that he never mentioned the possibility of Hendricks ever hitting his child or the fear of Hendricks striking his child, which was mentioned in the second interview. The detective also mentioned that multiple families had contacted RPD claiming to be the parents that were affected by the situation. Now, after this, the RPD detective was dismissed, and the defense then went after the second GoFundMe that was set up to benefit the father, and the judge was having none of that. The judge explained that anybody can post anything on the internet these days, and that the defense would need far more proof, like a representative from GoFundMe, to prove that this was a real account. Now, there was a back and forth between the defense and the judge blew up, saying that the defense would be found in contempt of court if he continued, and he stopped that line of questioning right there. Hang on a second, bear with me here. Now, closing arguments, this is the main part. Prosecution says that this is a straightforward trial and it's not a matter of emotions or speculation. They're arguing that Hendricks' words do fall under the legal definition of fighting words, meaning that they're likely to provoke an immediate violent response from whoever they are spoken to, and that her conduct, chasing after the child, yelling and being confrontational in the park, was a breach of the peace and was disorderly.
So you have this guy, Tom Hennessy, right? Shiloh verdict. Count 1 towards the child, she was found not guilty. Count 2 towards the videographer, guilty, right? So she was guilty of disorderly conduct, right? Not of the things that I read to you guys, where she, using that word in the park like that, and the manner in which she used it, she could have been ready to enact violence at any given time. We have no way of knowing that. We just have to trust W, folks. We have to trust their word and trust their judgment, right? Rachel Wealth, this is unreal. Minnesota has lost its darn mind. Now I want to educate you guys on something. Y'all like to say, well, what W folks did to us was a long time ago, but listen to how these W folks talk now. These are the grandchildren, the beneficiaries of what they've done. They haven't changed anything. They know she shouldn't be doing that, but they're taking up for her. They're going to bat for her. And they're going to do that for their people. So stop thinking that this stuff was a long time ago. I keep telling y'all, who said that they were psychologically fit to govern anything over you? I got to come back with some live streams because I got to reteach the people, man. MT Truth, right, was just about to go to sleep and saw this BS. Shiloh Hendricks found guilty by Minnesota court for saying the N-word ninja, right? So now they're upset, and they're online on their big channels making all kinds of excuses for this behavior.
Shiloh Hendricks has been found guilty in one of the charges she faced over an incident where she was filmed following her calling of a little boy a racial slur. It's a little bit of a complicated story, but you may have seen the viral video. This woman holding her child is being filmed by a man who says, "How could you say that to a child?" And then she says it to the guy, and then he gets all mad. That's all that really happened. She's been found guilty, not of the incident with the child, but in the incident with the man who was filming her, effectively being criminally charged for saying a naughty word. People are rightly furious over this. You don't have to like what she did to know it is not a crime to insult somebody, but they certainly decided that it should be. She has been sentenced to a $1,000 fine and 200 hours of community service. That being said, she also raised $859,000. I wonder how many people would take that deal, right? I see these posts on Reddit all the time. We're like, hypothetical. You get $100 million right now, but you'll lose a foot. And all the comments are like, done, take my foot. Okay, she didn't get $100 million, but she did get $859,000. She have to pay tax on it, obviously. 200 hours of community service. Yo, that's like a month of work about. And she's going to get nearly $1 million. I'm not saying it's good. I am saying that the community has come to her defense because while I think you shouldn't go around calling kids or people racial slurs, you know, them's fighting words, right? We want to reduce conflict. You can't criminally charge somebody for this. Now, the incident, it's complicated, but basically what happens is she's at a park with her kid. Some black kid comes up, starts rifling through her purse, steals an applesauce. She then, according to this guy filming, yells at the kid and calls him a naughty word, for which the guy filming her says, say it again, over and over again, and then she does. And that's what she was convicted on. This is crazy. Yo, if I'm walking around and you confront me, bro.
So I'm telling you, this is the mentality of these people. Remember, I want y'all to remember why he's explaining this. This is a child that did this. And she turned around and called this child the N-word. So imagine how she feels about adults. Imagine if she was your employer, right? See, this is where I go back when I'm in teaching mode and we're in the classroom and I'm telling you guys, right? These people could be your lawyers, your judges, your doctors. You have no way of knowing if they feel this way about you. So you think she's a lone wolf? No, this is the general consensus. This is the way that they think. This is the way that they think of you. So whenever they have some confrontation with you, they're thinking of you this way. We are reactionary towards them because of the history of this behavior. And these are the things that I've been saying. So when they tell you it's not about race, it's not about this. Now you hear this man, he's breaking this down, but not one time did he say she was wrong. He's defending her right to talk this way, knowing the historical punishments that. Listen, dealing with these people, you at a risk, you're taking a chance. And it is what it is. The history is on my side. It speaks for itself. She had the audacity to say this to a child. So imagine how she thinks as an adult. And if you think for a second that when you go stand in front of a judge, when you go for a job, or you around a bunch of W's, that most of them don't think like this, you are fooling yourself. You are fooling yourself. So she's been found guilty of basically nothing. She still gets to walk with her $800,000. So I better not hear none of you Negroes. You tiptoeing through the tubes, homogenized as Negroes. Say anything about black people when they collect money from the public, when something bad happens. Don't question where that money is, because you ain't questioning Shiloh Hendricks. But I'm going to cut this video short here. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.